Partway through. Thank you very much for joining us today. Just so you know, we will be recording the session. Trust that's okay with everybody. And that will be available after the webinar today, and we will be sending out some related content, etc. once we're done. My name is Simon Wilson. I'm a key account manager here at Geocom. And as many of you will know, Geocom are now part of the DWS Group, the Digital Wholesale Services Group. Under the group, we basically have three brands. So there's DWS, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, leading telco expert and wholesaler. Geocom, we are a cloud solutions partner. We provide Microsoft licensing along with other software licenses and services to the channel, to indirect resellers who then work with directly with customers. And then we have Union Street, which is the billing platform. And all of our technology within our group is owned by us. We manage our own platforms, and that's one of the key distinctions that we market ourselves on, is that we control the platforms. We make it really easy for everybody to trade with us, etc., to transact with us, and we can make changes to those platforms, and that's one of our key differentiators. Okay, so I'm not going to go into any great detail about what Geocom offer. We've got a couple of experts here from Microsoft, and really I want to give them the time to present to you properly. At the end, we will have a quick session for any questions, etc. So we can deal with those there. And then if you're interested in going further with this, if you want to talk to Geocom about how you actually get started selling Microsoft licenses or the Teams phones, etc., then let us know, and we can contact you about that, or you can reach out and contact your account manager, who will then put you in touch with the appropriate person here. But without further ado, I'm going to hand over firstly to Tim, who will talk through the Teams phone proposition, and then secondly to John Mitchell, who covers modern work for Microsoft, which is kind of your 365 type licenses, and he's going to talk a bit about the opportunity that will be available to you there. Okay, thank you, Tim. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Simon. Let me just get my deck up on the screen. As Simon said, if you have any questions as we go through, feel free to throw it in the chat. I will be able to hopefully watch that at the same time. Otherwise, we can take the Q&A at the end. So here we go. So everyone should now see the first slide of my deck. So I'll introduce myself briefly. We are running about a 20-minute session for myself and a 20 for John. So I will be going at speed. However, this is recorded and we will be sharing a deck afterwards. So don't panic. If you miss a slide, you need to go back to it again. I'll be sharing this afterwards in a PDF that you can go through, click on the links and look at everything else. So myself, I'm Tim Russell. I'm a cloud solution architect or a tech lead for partner enablement at Microsoft. My role is to empower partners to support you in developing your capacity, your capability, and actually driving consumption. Obviously, that's the net goal, but also delivering the right product, the right solutions, the right capabilities into your customers. I'm not new to telecoms. I've been a veteran of calling and telecommunications back from the days of those who know it, the SDXs, the Northstars and Nortels, the Ericssons and Mitels, the Ciscos, the Panasonics, the Hicoms. Pretty much I've had my fingers on most of those. So hopefully I talk with a level of clear understanding of the telecoms world, but also want to give a good view of the Microsoft perspective and where we're at now in the whole road where we've gone from traditional PBX through VoIP into converged comms and where we are now, which is true collaboration products. I'm going to try and provide some core pointers and resources. I cannot cover everything. That's quite obvious in the same time frame. The hope is that the links I'll show in the last 3 slides, and I won't go through them, we'll just share them, will give you more than enough collateral. Actually, probably quite often too much collateral, but at least I'd rather have you forewarned, forearmed and prepared, and you can pick and choose the content as you go through. And again, once again, ultimately, my goal is to enable you as partners through Geocom to be able to do your best work with the Microsoft stack. So let's talk about Teams Phone, which is obviously the piece I'm going to be focusing on today. If you look at your customers, do they have Word, Excel, PowerPoint? There's a pretty good chance 99.9% of your customers at some point are operating a Microsoft 365 product. Whether it's the old legacy installed from a CD, put with a key code, or they're running something more modern with the cloud-hosted solution, they are a Microsoft customer at some point. Therefore, when you come to talk about Teams, Microsoft is not alien to them. They may already be using Teams, but not yet realize the full capability. And Teams Phone is just one of those capabilities within the entire Teams stack. As Simon knows, we were at a session yesterday. We were running a session at Microsoft presenting. Every single person presenting, regardless of the ecosystem they were representing from within Microsoft, mentioned Teams. It is the key, it is the core, it is the center of the web. There is just so much capability. So let's go on to some more about Teams Phone. When we talk about Teams Phone, we refer to it Teams Phone with a capital P. That is a licensing capability. Whenever you see Microsoft documentation, it's Teams Phone with a small p. We're talking about the devices and the hardware. Not that this is absolutely critical, but it's nice to understand when we're using this terminology what we're talking about. Teams is readily available. Some licenses include it as standard. Some customers, as I say, are already used in the private version, but it is readily available. It may already be used within your customer base. You will know better than anyone else. What would be funny is if they're using Teams but still have a legacy PBX on the wall, when quite often the collaboration, the communication, the capability, and also the cost saving that's available by bringing the Teams capability or the phone capability into Teams. So Teams Phone is a UCaaS or a UCaaS or a Unified Communications as a Service offering. A UCaaS is quite literally, it's a term for PBX functionality provided as a cloud-hosted service that can be consumed by organizations, ultimately your customers. Microsoft Teams Phone is a rich calling platform. It can be used to replace dedicated on-premise or existing cloud phone systems. Users can consume calling on a physical phone, a literal handset you can place down, but they also have the ability to use that same capability within the web, the mobile, or the desktop apps, including virtual desktop environments. And as many of you may already know, the Teams app is available on your mobile phones. You can use your mobile phone to make and receive Teams phone calls. All you need is the right setup, the right licenses, the right capabilities, and away you go. You can also mix and match these modalities, so you could receive a call on web and transfer it to your mobile just as easily as click. That simple. And a lot of the design work that's gone into the Teams platform and the way it's put together, it is put together in a way to allow a seamless migration from one platform to another without having to relearn how the application works. Whether you're on Android, whether you're on iOS, where you're running on a Windows platform, Teams even runs on a Linux platform for those who haven't seen it. It does and supports the same capability and looks the same as the Windows platform. We also have device types, so not just a user-bound device, we also have the ability to support common area phones, but also role types, the road warriors, the desk workers, and more recently we've launched a very broad set of capabilities called Frontline Worker, everything from walkie-talkie to integration to DeX mobile phones and legacy hardware, and I'm going to cover some of this in a couple of slides. We also have the ability to integrate with contact centers, compliance and recording tools if you have customers that require this capability, an operator console, and as just briefly mentioned, a product called SIP Gateway that enables utilization of legacy equipment. Again, I will cover that a little bit further later on. With the phone system, it can also be bundled with the Microsoft Calling Plan, which is one of 3 ways you can make and receive phone calls. Calling Plans is a Microsoft offered capability that enables you to carry out calling on the platform. There are also 2 other alternatives I'll show briefly in one of the slides. And the other benefit from the Teams platform is that all of the administration takes place within a single admin center, or the Teams admin center, or we've shortened that to TAC. We love our acronyms. But when it comes to supporting the entire Office estate, one of 2 tools, admin.microsoft.com, and from there you can reach the Teams admin portal, SharePoint admin, Azure admin. All of it comes from a single portal, single logon, single capability. So let's you've probably had enough of looking at that slide. Let's give you a very brief view of the capability. Now, this is just some of the capabilities available in the product. From what we know with the standard calling capabilities, to the extra capabilities, to the PSTN interconnection, to the presence information, but also looking, and I like to highlight the bottom left, is a lot of the call quality and status reports that you can run on the platform. It also supports, we have Department of Defense and government cloud solutions available globally and within the UK, also widely used within a number of government organisations, both regionally and centrally. Again, this deck will include this slide, so I won't bother going through it, but I would welcome you or encourage you to go and read through this and start seeing what level of capability is there within that slide. So why Microsoft? Why use a Microsoft Teams capability? The bottom line is for those who know, Gartner have placed us in the top right, the magic quadrant to show that our product isn't just promising, but also delivering on a capability. It's in there on top right. There's a lot of other names you may recognize on there, but Gartner recognizes how far Microsoft has moved forward in the last. Sorry, I just noticed.
Yeah, I'm just going to pause you there, Tim. It looks
Which
like
slide
the slides are not moving. Personally, I'm still on the Teams call in December 2022 slide.
Right. Let me just turn that on.
Looks like my colours as well.
Right, bear with me 1 second. Yeah, sorry, just before you join the call, you're not seeing any changes on the slides at the minute?
No.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to cancel and reshare the deck. Bear with me 1 second.
Right.
Unfortunately, the nature of trying out new equipment, as I was just saying before the start of this call, does create challenges.
I thought it must have been my end lagging.
No.
Yeah.
Bear with me 1 second. Let's go for plan B. Click, click. You should all now see my deck. Please confirm that is so.
We can still see that opening screen.
Right, let me just check. Got it. And has it changed?
It has for me. Anybody? It hasn't.
No, all good. Right, sorry.
Right.
So when I was talking about Teams Phone, it was that slide. Then I moved on to the list of capability, which I'll let you see here. And then the slide we were just talking about was the UC as a Service Magic Quadrant. And as I say, once again, to highlight what I was saying, we can't get in a better position than to be not only recognized as a leader, but also a visionary. We are in the lead. We are showing what success looks like, for want of a better term. So that's where Gartner have placed us, and that's a really good indication to the market of where we're seen by the industry, but also by the likes of Gartner. So let's get a little bit technical, and I'm going to go very, very light on this just to give you an understanding. When we talk about traditional PBXs, we talk about a structure very similar to this. We have either a hosted or an on-premise PBX, might be nailed on the wall or might be coming from another service provider. You have VoIP connectivity, which most of the time will be SIP-based nowadays. And you may also have a mobile telephony resale contract in one way, shape or form. But you also, as a partner, have the ability to deliver hardware here. And depending on the level of system you're operating and how you're operating, all of these capabilities down the right side are yours to deliver. Now, what I want to do now is then change this slide through a level of transition and show you what Teams Phone looks like in the same position. What you'll notice is pretty much the same. You still have the advanced capability, you still have the device support, you still have connectivity, and in place of a PBX, you have Microsoft Teams Phone. And I'm going to jump onto the next slide. So when we start looking at how Microsoft Teams Phone sits together, the product, what was a PBX previously, is looked after by Microsoft. It's delivered as a service, not a physical piece of hardware you put on the wall. It's more about delivering the capability to your customers. You also have the Microsoft Teams calling plan, which I touched on recently, which is a calling capability that can be consumed and purchased direct from Microsoft. Then we start looking at alternative connectivity. Now, you as a partner, you can choose to work with an operator and Wholesale Operator Connect or purchase it through the platform. You also have Operator Connect Mobile, which is limited to, I think, 2 partners in the UK at the minute. That will maybe expand later, but I will recommend, and I've shared a link at the end about looking up what that actually means and how it works. In short, it means you can assign a mobile telephone number to a Teams client, giving people one telephone number, both for their mobile device and their desktop. And we also have direct routing. I won't go in too deep on direct routing. Direct routing has a technology overhead or a learning overhead. It requires an extra level of technical capability around setting up and supporting an SBC. We find that is very specific to certain situations, although all of this capability can coexist. The Teams calling plan, the Operator Connect, the direct routing, and the Operator Connect mobile, it all operates on the same platform and coexist. But as individual suppliers, you may have a preference to work one way or another. So let's talk really quickly again, high level about Teams licenses. Within the SMB market, we have the Teams Essential license, which is good for up to 300 people. That's your basis that gives people the right to use Teams or the ability to use Teams. To add the Teams Phone capability, you'll need to either look at Teams Phone with Calling Plan, which is a bundled product. And I think we might just touch on CSP and bundling later on and how you can really deliver value in that. We also have the second option is to buy a Teams Phone license. And then the green areas is to create an agreement with a provider of SIP or well, it'll be SIP telephony nowadays. But what I want to point out again is still this wrap at the bottom, the part on the side, and ultimately the managed service wrap around all of this is still available to you as a partner. So what else is in there? We have, as I said, contact center. Now at present, we have 15 certified partners and 19 in the certification track that are certified to connect with Teams and provide contact center capability. Although there is a call queue and an auto attendant built into Teams and it's quite advanced in capability, it's not a full-blown contact centers, and some customers do want that. So if you have a customer looking to do that, here is just a selection of some of the ones we work with. But the link's at the bottom of the page. If you take the link, that will show you the list of all the partners who are currently certified or on the certified track to work as a contact center partner. And the reason I highlight contact center is one of the main asking points when it comes to enabling a Teams Phone platform is where's the contact center? So we have loads of vendors. The other bit I want to touch on is the hardware. From a headset that I'm using here today to speaker pucks or physical devices, all of these are available, and we say 50, I think it's closer to 70 plus new devices certified for use with Teams in the last year. And that's on top of the existing estate that was already there, which is quite a massive amount. And we also have recently, recently, we launched the ability to integrate a specific set of DEX handsets into the Teams platform. That means your mobile workers, your shop floor workers, your forklift operators, whatever it might be, can carry on using the DEC technology, but connect into the Teams platform and have a seamless integration in connecting to the front and the back office. Really, really good idea. And when we look at the vendors, the SpectraLink, the Ascom, the Poly, that also means the ability to use their ruggerized handsets, and where possible, when the handset supports it, they can integrate their man down, press to talk capability to bring a real advanced set of features into a platform that is then shared across the front and back office and can be linked into other capabilities such as Power Automate, reporting, and contact center, really creating a joined up feeling of telecommunications for an entire organization. Wary of the time, and sorry for the slides being a little bit slow at the start. I'm going to flash through a couple of slides. It's really now down to you if you want to build a UC practice. I highly recommend it. Obviously, I may appear biased, but I can also say, looking at the way the market going, things going on in the market, I would seriously recommend looking at how you address your capability to work with Teams platform. It is one of the most asked of and widely spread platforms that I'm seeing within the wilds of customer environment. So it really is a safe bet, would be my view, to be out there and supporting Teams. So when you look at what you're going to do once you've made that decision, there are 3 really simple steps. Define the strategy. Is about looking at your strengths. Where do you play? What's your business area? What's your sector? What's your customer size? What do you bring that's unique to your experience, and how can you bring that to the Teams platform? We then look at the capabilities, where I might as well flick through those slides actually, and then you can look at them with me. So the strategy, as I said, look at the market landscape, the geographical area you operate in, your capabilities and your strengths. We then look at the capabilities. We look at your skills. There is a lot of free training available from Microsoft. Links again at the end will allow you to look at your skills gap. How much cross training is required for your current estate of engineers, for example, to bring them up to a Teams support capability? It's still telephony. It's just in a different product to the one you may be used to. isn't that you're learning a new language or crossing from telecommunications into running a firewall. You're still supporting the basic telephony capability. And then we move on to the operationalize is, how do you go to market? How do you run this? How do you position this? And we're going to mention it again, I hope, if we get a chance later, is about CSP bundling, is how do you bring extra capabilities to really differentiate yourself as a telecom operator in the sector you work to be able to support teams. Now, we do have some really good collateral available. The link at the bottom of the page, and again, don't worry about clicking on it now, you will get this. We'll show you in quite a deep dive how you can move forward and how you can develop this capability, what's on offer, and touching, I think, to a certain degree on the incentives. Although ultimately, Geocom here as your partner of choice will be the one there supporting you in coming to market. Microsoft just deliver a whole load of collateral that you can use in your own time to build up, and then you work with Geocom to move forward, to launch your capability, to register yourself as a Microsoft partner, and to also register yourself as a CSP partner or a cloud service provider. And with that, I will show you the resource slides, and there are absolutely loads. There we go, still going. And this one was really worth downloading, is looking at the total economic impact of Microsoft Teams calling. If you want to get into the facts and figures, that will be sent out in the deck, and hopefully not running too far over time. I'd like to pass the mic over to John, and please, if you've got any Q&A, save them for later, and we'll pick them up in the Q&A session at the end. And with that, over to you, John.
Lovely, thanks, Tim. Right, I will just load up my presentation. So hopefully everyone can see my first slide, very similar to Tim's first slide, just a different name, so you can choose who stole whose template. Yeah, I think people can see it. So look, hopefully Tim's given you lots of food for thought and answered some of your questions in terms of the comprehensive nature of Teams Phone, and the solution that we've brought to market, and we're expanding and seeing lots of success with. And what I would like to do is hopefully build on that, the broader opportunity for you as you've connected and you have the opportunity to connect with Geocom and look at the digital workforce and modern work, as we call it in Microsoft. I work in the SMC, small, medium and corporate sales team. And so my objective is share a little bit of the innovation very, very briefly that's coming down in Teams. And as Tim said, Teams really is the hub of business. It is not a chat and communications platform. It is the hub of modern business, of productivity, collaboration. And so there's a great stream of innovation that's coming into that space. So I'm going to share some of that with you. Then just look at the size of the opportunity that you have with that digital workforce as we see it. And you're already a critical partner for all of your customers, right? As you're looking after their comms, and you're one step away from being that full digital workforce and unifying all of those opportunities. So hopefully that's where I can open you up, and then we can see, where do you start? So the first thing I was going to share when I was talking about innovation for Microsoft around modern work, I wanted to share, back in July, we had our annual event where we bring our partners together and we discuss with our partners all of the innovation and partner programs and everything related to the Microsoft Cloud. This year we reflected a lot on the imperatives around digital transformation, innovation and partnership and security, and a lot of that is connected to the modern workplace. Tim, thumbs up. Are you seeing my slides progress? Just double checking. Yeah, great. So look, one of the biggest topics, as I alluded to already at that show, was the future of work. As all of your customers, our customers, have reopened their businesses in the last 2 years, they're coming back into the workplace. And it's looking, or needs to look, dramatically different to meet the expectations of the business and of the employees. The priorities of people put in the way that they shape their life is different to pre the pandemic. That's a super interesting topic we put in a lot of time about thinking about, because as those employee expectations change, we've got to provide a platform for our customers to be able to approach that. And productivity and work-life balance are critical. And the great thing is that the digital technology that we have is the most malleable resource available to make sure that we can answer these challenges and sort of reimagine the everyday. So huge topic at the event. And that's all because it is super clear, right? Employees redefining the way that they do their business. Just look at this workshop we've got today. I think 3 years ago, all of these sessions we've put on with DWS and Geocon would have been in-person events around the country, right? And this time we've done a hybrid approach. We've done in-person and we've done some of these virtual events, which is great because we can scale, we can reach the needs of everybody really wanting to be able to connect synchronously, asynchronously, and sort of coming together. It's not now just about, you know, the job that you do in the office. It's about having flexibility, human connection, all of that good stuff. And you can see the stats on the slide show how important it is for a business to find the suitable hybrid strategy for their business. Our research shows that employees are 12 times more likely to leave their company if they're not fully engaged and understanding the business. And that's difficult to do in a hybrid world. You've got to provide that platform, but you've got to also provide the connectivity, the connection for its people. Oh, I've got a message I saw come in. Is everyone else okay with the slides? You can do a reaction for me. Use the reaction button at the top of Teams and just give me a thumbs up so I can see, hopefully, lots of thumbs up that you can see the slides. 1, 2, yeah, so sorry, Kate, it might be a challenge for you, but if you switch off and then switch back on your incoming video, that might improve it. But coming back to hybrid work, so every business is trying to figure out what's the right hybrid strategy for them. It's not going to be one size fits all, absolutely. And so there's a great opportunity for partners to work with their customers. And we are seeing that. We're seeing, for example, with the meeting rooms that are in businesses, offices, they need to look dramatically different. They need to make sure that it doesn't matter where in the country, the world employees are when they come into a meeting, they've got an equal voice in that meeting if they're in the room or if they're working remotely. And teams have evolved over time to ensure that we can drive that collaboration. I wanted to share one piece of collaboration with you before I get into the market opportunity. We've highlighted 3 areas of the hybrid work operating model where we are investing and driving to kind of transform that employee experience. We've got a lot of research around those modern work trends, and I think I've got a link in here to share with you so you can go and have a look at those. One point which really brings together the experience within Teams is a new feature we launched at Inspire, which is Excel Live. Now, Excel Live really is a fantastic solution. If you've been in that virtual meeting previously, when you want to collaborate on the same document live with, you know, multiple people on a call, but they're only the person in control of the meeting and are showing their visualization of their tool that they're using, Excel in this point, they're the only ones that can be inside that document and be using it, can be very frustrating for the whole group. With Excel Live, nobody needs to have Excel open, right? Within the canvas of Teams, somebody can share the documents that they've got from the drop-down menu. Everybody will be able to collaborate within that document and go and pull together that piece of collaboration, the work that they're using within Excel. Really, really powerful for lots and lots of teams. There is a very short video here, but I don't think I will run it. I just wanted to give you a flavor how Teams is that collaboration hub, and we're bringing all of that power of Office 365 and other apps, you know, to the forefront of that digital fabric. And this is something that you can really help your partners transform, because, you know, Teams Phone is your step into this digital workforce opportunity. So what do we mean when we're talking about that modern work business and security business for those end users within a business? This is the pyramid that we look at from a Microsoft point of view for our small and medium customers. So everybody up to 300 seats. From a modern work perspective, which is everything that Microsoft sells into the market as Microsoft 365, you may be more familiar with Office 365, which is what we launched as when we were really focusing on those traditional Office apps of Excel, PowerPoint, Word, but we've broadened out to so many more cloud services to enable customers to do so much more with Office 365. We rebranded to Microsoft 365 a couple of years ago. It is a huge opportunity. We've got, you know, 1.6 million customers in this space, and that TAM, that total addressable market opportunity, is $7.5 billion annually. which has Teams right in the heart of it, and the penetration of seats that Microsoft have in that space, as you can see on the slide there. And there is lots of white space opportunity, and we see as these customers are adopting unified communications, it's one way for you to go and drive that footprint. So this is the addressable market that we look at, and we'd love to see you guys join in that opportunity. We recently completed some research around SMB customers and their approach and attitudes towards digital technology. Now, this is research from July 2022. You'll get the link. You can click on the link at the minute because I'm already using PowerPoint Live, so you guys can interact with what's on screen. This was a significant piece of research with over 3,000 SMBs in 10 markets, including the UK. Now, I'm sharing this because some really interesting facts in here around the expectations and how customers are changing in their approach to technology. The one that I really like, well, all of this sort of summary, this 60-second slide summary, shows how the SMB market is very similar to enterprise. People are really concerned about reliability and security. They're really concerned about ESG and sustainability and that sort of social responsibility piece. But what is really critical to these customers is how their partner is going to play a strategic role. Increasingly, SMBs do not want a transactional partner. They need a partner that is strategically helping them achieve their goals by enabling the technology that they can purchase from companies like Microsoft. So really exciting to see that transformation, and we're seeing customers actively search out for those partners that can offer that strategic relationship across all of Teams, all of modern work, and as we move out further. Now, when we look at our solutions and what Geocom can enable you to start selling, and I will share with you how you start this process at the end of this slide, we've kept it very simple from a Microsoft 365 point of view for small businesses. On the left-hand side here, we have some individual solutions. Tim mentioned Teams Essentials, which is the extremely effective way to introduce Teams to your customers in that SMB sub 300 seat space, when all they want to do is get hold of Teams as that communications and collaborations tool. That's how they can do that as a standalone product. We have standalone security products like Defender for Business that you can see underneath that on the left. With those standalone solutions are great. We are seeing our customers look to us for support from the suites that we have. So the Microsoft 365 suites. We have a good, better, best flavor in this space: Business Basic, Business Standard, and Business Premium. I'm not going to go through that stack, but all of these can be that hub of modern work where you can attach Teams Phone and the solutions that Tim talked about to create that unified comms approach and that full digital workforce solution for your customers. So this is the suite where we sell into the market. Business Premium is the one that we are having the most success at the moment, because increasingly customers are saying that we want one solution that covers all the various needs that we're looking to address. And within the research I shared with you, 64% of customers are increasingly saying it is a complicated market. I want one partner that can explain this and bring the value to life for me, and I want one solution that is not complex and allows me to focus on my business goals. My business goals are not having the best tech, it's about the best tech enabling the best end results for me as a business. So it's a very exciting time for you to be thinking about this. We're very lucky with that approach to the way that we have a single platform, is that that's really resonating in the market at the moment, because every business today is looking to be able to do more with less. You know, there are pressures out there. Obviously, from the macroeconomic conditions, there are pressures to make sure that we can enable teams to be really efficient and effective. And if people have tried to solve solutions individually, my security needs, my compliance needs, my device management needs, they can create a network and a web of vendor solutions that can be very complex to land. So we think we've got a very strong proposition with Microsoft 365 to help a customer enable the power of the cloud and resolve three key challenges that they have. Number one is managing costs. By consolidating with Microsoft 365 in the SMB space, we can see we can save our customers up to and over 50% of the licensing of trying to solve for those individual solutions that I talked about. So that licensing consolidation is a really important thing. Customers need to have security confidence at the same time, and we've built in our enterprise grade security features into our SMB solution as well. So again, you'll be able to create that single solution for them and build their confidence that they have a security posture fit for today. And all of that leads into improving the productivity of a workforce that wants to be flexible, that wants to work from home, from a cafe, from wherever they are, and in a very collaborative office as well. So we're getting a lot of success from our partners. And in that core modern workplace, you've got a lot of partners that are starting to look at, do I need to develop a phone practice within this and kind of unify that? And I think you guys live in that sort of in the opposite space, where you already really understand how to do the communications piece, which is arguably the complicated piece. And this digital workforce and Microsoft 365 piece will complete the full picture for you to be that strategic partner. This is just bringing to life for you everything that I told you there about do more with less and how we help it. What you've got in the middle is the kind of the core modern work and security elements a customer looks to solve for in the cloud. The left-hand side shows if they try and solve those individually, what that stack of solutions will look like. And on average, it will cost around about £34. With Business Premium, it's £16.60. And it leaves lots of space for you to land the managed services. And Tim talked a lot about the extra value that you can add in for phone, and obviously phone can be part of that, as can the collaboration and productivity hub. I'll talk about that, I think, on the next slide. So again, I don't want to blast too much at you, but you're one step away from being able to work with Geocom and open up the full modern workplace opportunity. Here we go. So what does that potentially look like over time? Because again, if hopefully our idea for this workshop is to give you that sort of motivation to connect with Geocom and work out exactly how you go and create that new business plan, that new flywheel of managed services and modern work solutions. This is just a simple way to think about, what Microsoft solutions would you deliver from a digital workforce point of view over time? What are the features that you bring to life from Business Premium, and what are the add-on services that you've got? So I'm not going to go deep into this, but I want to make sure that we were very clear in terms of that broader opportunity for you with this stack that we have, that over time you can drive an increased reoccurring revenue opportunity for yourself with your customers across phone, across productivity, and across security from a single solution that you're selling into that customer. In terms of what would it look like from the cloud solution platform and becoming a cloud solution partner that Tim talked about earlier, I thought I would share with you a basic stack of what this would look like for you commercially as you build out this business potentially with Geocom. So I've created an example here of an 100-seat business that was using Office 2016, so the on-premise traditional non-cloud version of Office, and what happens when you transform them and help them move and create a hybrid strategy and move to Microsoft 365 Business Premium. So at the bottom of the stack, I've got the deal revenue based on that ERP of 1660. So for 100 customers annually, that's worth just under £20,000 for you. Geocom on the CSP platform will offer you 15 points of deal margin up front, so that's just under 3,000. Microsoft will pay you 9% of incentive because it's there is a core CSP rebate of 4% and a 5% strategic CSP rebate. So there's another £1,500 on top. Because this would be a new customer to Microsoft 365 and the cloud, there is a 15% incentive on top of that. So that builds another $2,500. We also have an incentive program called the Online Services Usage Incentive. This is when you're driving the adoption of Teams or SharePoint or OneDrive, the various solutions that we have. As you drive that adoption, we will reward you for that work. At $500 per workload. You can do multiple workloads. I've just put in this example 2 workloads that you've helped them with. And then on top, I talked about the managed services. They're right at the top that you could look to develop to drive that value for the customer, and the professional services. Those 2 in blue are based on Forrester studies that we've created. So I felt like it was important that if you're going to go down this mission of creating this full digital workforce and capitalize on the partnership DWS has with Geocom, this is potentially what it could look like for you as you build out that plan. So there's a really strong opportunity. It's a very good time to move, especially as we have the analog switch off motivating so many customers in the next 2 years to make this transition to the cloud. So where do I start? There's a lot in there, right? And there's a lot of detail for us to go through and work with you. Now, the great news for you, as I've said numerous times, is that you can engage with the Geocom's Microsoft practice via your DWS account manager. So Simon's team are ready to come and support and do an onboarding call for you to explain for you, you know, how do I bundle my services with the Microsoft Cloud in CSP? Can I do that? Can I create these bundles, as Tim mentioned? And the answer is yes, you can. You can absolutely do that with the platform that Geocom have, so that you can sell in those single unique solutions that you've brought to market with the managed services that you create. So absolutely, you can start to build your go-to-market plan with the Geocom team. We've got a lot of what we call solution plays and assets that are available for you to take to market. So you're not starting from scratch. We've got a lot of assets, as Tim showed you, what we have from a phone perspective. I'm not going to put all the links into this presentation. There's one link that goes through to the Microsoft Partner Portal where everything will be. But again, connect with Geocom through your DWS account manager, and you can start to drive and develop that plan to come to Microsoft 365 with phone, and then branch out to the other areas. So that for me is where I will finish, Simon. Very happy. I don't think we've had any questions in the chat, but if anybody wants to type any or be brave enough to come off mute, then I think we're happy, Simon, to take some questions.
Yeah, that was great, John. Thank you very much. And Tim also, thank you very much. I hope everybody can see the opportunity there. And, you know, I think one of the things that really stood out for me, I've seen these presentations a couple of times, is the idea or the fact that a large proportion of businesses want to work with a single provider and they want a single solution provided to them. And I think what you need to be aware of is if you're doing their communications now and not their Microsoft type business, then that Microsoft partner who is supplying that is going to be looking to bring in their communications, and they're going to be looking to do that via Teams. So, you know, this is your opportunity to go the other way and use your communications experience to get into their revenue that's being generated on Microsoft. Just as we have got 15 minutes and we haven't had any questions as yet, I'll just share a couple of quick slides just about the kind of a little bit more about the Geocom experience and what it would take to kind of set up with us and how we can assist you in this journey as John described, etc. So I'll just share a couple of slides with you. A couple of these, there may be a little bit of repetition from what John said, so I will try to skip over those. If anybody can let me know if they're not seeing that, then we can. But I'm hoping that's all looking okay.
Yep, I can see that, Simon.
Thank you, John. Okay, so just very quickly, as we said, Geocom is a Microsoft partner. We are licensed by them to sell. Sorry, it wasn't moving on there. So we're a Microsoft partner. We are able to sell Microsoft licenses to partners who can then sell on to end customers. We offer you a margin on that. So there's a recommended retail price on all licensing. Most customers will refer to that as the price. We'll give you an average of 15% off those licenses. So that's immediate margin that you can make. And then there is a few more incentives and rebates that you can earn as a Microsoft partner. Becoming a Microsoft partner does take a little bit of effort. You need to achieve a couple of certifications and pass some certain thresholds. And that's the kind of thing where Geocom really come in and we can support you in how do I get to be a Microsoft partner? How do I access the relevant incentives and rebates that are applicable to me, and etc. etc. And we can really help you to do that and to get you set up in that. Okay, we do sell all the Microsoft stack, so that includes the 365, the modern work that John's been speaking about, but also Azure, Dynamics, Biz Apps, Power Platforms, etc. etc. Okay. So what's the benefits of working with Geocom specifically? Well, we have a 24/7 self-service platform, very easy to manage your licenses through that, to order your licenses. We'll then provide you with a single monthly invoice to cover all of your licensing with us. We can help you with sales and technical training, whether that be something that might be provided by us, by a third party that we will source on your for you, or through finding the right links for you. Basically, as Tim said, there is a myriad of Microsoft learning documents, other documentation, webinars, demos, etc., all of which is extremely useful, but can be rather hard to navigate. And again, we come in there, we spent a lot of time doing this, so we can find the right links for you if that's the appropriate route to take, or we can arrange training, as I say. We'll provide you with technical support around the products. You take the call from the customer, you do the first line, you can then escalate that up to Geocom, and we will handle any second line support requirements that you need. We've got a number of other tools within our portal which help you to manage your services. And your billing and your product movement and various different aspects of that, all of which, we're happy to take you through as part of this onboarding journey and to give you a demonstration of our portal, which is called Cloud Market. If you just contact your account manager, then we can get that set up. And last but not least, on the pre-sales and product specialists, we have some experienced practitioners here, particularly on the Azure side, and also we're developing a modern work practice who are able to assist you in specifications, pre-sales, have I got this right? Go to market, am I pricing it right? What's the cost? What's the best way to do it? And then ultimately deployment and management of those services. And we can help with all of that. Okay. Getting started with us is very straightforward. You contact your account manager, tell us that's what you want to do. We will get you set up with a Geocom account. We'll also help you to set up your Microsoft Partner Center account so that you have access to the Microsoft Partner Network. We'll do an onboarding call, etc., take you through a demo of the cloud market. We'll help you to decide which licenses you want to sell if you need any help on that, and we'll provide you with training. So we made the journey as easy as possible, and we are here to assist you as much or as little as you feel you need. Okay, so that's basically it on my side. I just wanted to make sure that I got that covered off. Do we have there is another slide, but I'll skip it. Do we have any further questions, please? Do perhaps come off your mic if that's possible, or just drop it in the chat. Okay, I'm going to take that as a no. If there are any questions that you think of after this, or you didn't want to raise them here, you can either drop them through to me, simon.wilson@geocom.com, or contact your account manager and they will put you in touch with somebody from Geocom, and then they'll also sort of accompany you on that journey up to the point where you don't need them to sort of help with the cloud stuff. Okay. So thank you very much, Tim. Thank you very much, John. Much appreciated. We will send out the decks and you will get a copy of the recording, and